Dear viewers, you would have seen a video which we have done earlier by name known as Finance Act 2020. As per the Finance Act 2020, an amendment was proposed wherein which to determine the residential status of NRIs, a extra condition of 15 lakh income in India was put. Many of you have asked us a question, what all the incomes have to be included to determine this 15 lakh threshold limit. Today's video is an attempt to explain to you what all the incomes that need to be considered to check this threshold of 15 lakhs limit to be considered while determining your resident or non-resident status. This is NRI Money Clinic for you, and I am Dr. Chandrakant Bhatt, investment consultant and a financial planner.
NRI Money Clinic. No hype, just the right advice.
Dear viewers, this is a bit complex video. You may find it difficult to understand. To understand this particular video, you have to watch 3 other videos that I have done prior. One video was named as Finance Act 2020, who will be impacted. The other 2 videos are RNOR status for NRIs part 1 and part 2. All these 3 videos are available on our playlist NRI taxation. If you watch those 3 videos earlier, you will be able to understand the discussion that we are doing in this particular video. In this video, we are going to talk about an amendment which has an income threshold limit of 15 lakh rupees to determine the residential status for some of the individuals. To talk about this complex subject, I have brought to the studio my eminent faculty, Chartered Accountant Sriram Rao. Sriram Rao has spoken on the earlier 3 videos. He has elaborated in a very simple and very effective manner describing who can become a resident individual, who will become an RNOR status. Sriram Rao is a practicing chartered accountant, a popular person on our channel. He has done several videos, a partner at Nitin J. Shetty & Co., and a man who specializes in direct taxes and NRI affairs. Welcome to this show, Mr. Sriram Rao.
Thank you.
Mr. Sriram, you have done these videos on resident status and RNOR status. One of the things you explained was this special threshold of 15 lakh limit which has been described in some of the conditions.
Correct.
Many of the persons on the viewers have asked us this question. Yes, you have put in a 15 lakh conditions to determine this residential status and RNOR status. What should we include in that 15 lakh income? It's a very genuine question, and we started thinking more and more about it, and it started becoming complex. Yes, 15 lakhs is an understandable threshold limit. What to include it or what not to include it?
This is a little complex question. I'll try to simplify this. This has come into effect due to that amendment in the Residential Status under Income Tax Act, which was proposed by Finance Act 2020 and which has come into force from 1st of April 2020.
Okay.
Prior to that, this is not applicable at all. And this is applicable only to 2 category of conditions, what I can say. One is to a person who is coming to India on a visit, and another is to a person who is deemed a resident. Based on he not having any domicile outside of India during the particular year. To describe this 15 lakh threshold, one need to understand the very basics of it. And again, in the law it says that 15 lakhs income, and it should be an Indian sourced income. So what do you mean by that? They have again explained in brief. So what I can overall give a picture is that there are 3 conditions which needs to be satisfied to come under the category of India sourced income for the purpose of this 15 lakh threshold.
Okay, I will intervene here for a moment.
Yeah.
Now we are talking about 15 lakh threshold limit which has been mentioned in that amendment.
Correct.
This 15 lakh income should be an India generated income.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with his income outside of India.
Yes, I'll come to that.
Okay.
So it's a little complex, but I will try to simplify as easy as possible. Let us see. So now there are three types of conditions what I can see to which can income which falls under this would be categorized and has to be accumulated to come to this 15 lakh threshold. Point number one, any income received in India.
Received in India?
Yes.
Not generated in India?
No. Any income received in India.
Okay.
Second condition, any income which is accrued or arisen in India. That means income which is generated in India or earned in India, we can say.
Okay.
Third is any income which is accrued or arisen outside of India, but that income should be in the nature of business or profession income. And such business should be controlled in India, or such profession income has been earned due to that profession being set up in India. So if you are coming under any of these categories, it is not cumulative, any of these categories, then that income will be considered as a India sourced income.
Okay.
So this is the broad viewpoint which I can come to this. I mean to say that this 15 lakh income will come within this.
Okay. So see, in a simple way, it should be received in India.
Yes.
It should be generated in India.
Yes.
Or it should be an income because of a profession or a business which is controlled in India, but the income can come from outside of India.
Yes.
If the source of income is these three, you have to include that under this 15 lakh limits. Yes. To arrive at your residential status.
Yes. Again, here one more pointer which I would like to tell, that even though you are coming under these categories, three categories, but under the Income Tax Act, that particular income is specifically given as exempt under any of the clauses.
Okay.
Then that income will not be added for the purpose of determination of this 15 lakh threshold.
Okay. Now you arrived at a total income.
Correct.
Okay. Out of this total income, if government has given you specific exemptions for
Yes.
any of the incomes,
Yes.
then you should not add that into this 15 lakh bracket. You can just leave it outside.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
One example that comes to my mind is, now there is a NRE interest which people are accumulating.
Correct.
It is income generated inside India.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So it's an income.
Correct.
But income generated from NRE account is tax free.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So this income need not be clubbed into 15 lakhs. So you can just segregate that.
Yes. Now here one need to understand what is given as exempt as far as NRE interest is concerned. So now this NRE interest earned out of SB account, savings bank account of NRE, or FD or TD accounts of NRE. So they are exempt in India provided you are a resident outside of India under FEMA.
Okay.
It has got nothing to do with the residential status under Income Tax Act.
Okay.
So here one need to understand is whether you are a resident outside of India under FEMA, only then you can maintain this NRE account, and only then this interest earned from such NRE accounts would be exempt in India. So if you are falling under that category and it is to be considered as exempt, then for the purpose of determination of this 15 lakh total income, this income earned from NRE interest will not should not be added. It should be kept outside entirely.
Okay. So it means to say, or if I understood you very correctly, if you are holding an NRE account in accordance with the FEMA law,
yes,
then the interest that you have earned from NRE, FDs or SB or term deposits
Yes.
is tax free.
absolutely,
Right?
yes,
But you have come back to India, you are in an RNOR status.
Correct.
Technically, you cannot hold NRE account.
Correct.
You have held NRE accounts in violation of FEMA law.
Correct.
Then it becomes taxable,
Absolutely, sir.
right? So you have to look at the circumstances from where you are computing, and you see if you are as per the law, if it is an exemption which is given to you, you can delete from that 15 lakh limit.
Yes.
But if you have got some income and it is not permitted as per the law, you have to include it under that 15 lakh limit.
Absolutely, sir.
Correct?
Absolutely.
Ms. Sriram, you told as a third condition that it could be a foreign income. It has to be included in India, provided that it should be a business or profession which is controlled from India.
Correct.
Can you explain what is a business or profession which is controlled from India?
Say for example, a person who is having a business outside of India, but he is now staying in India and controlling that business by being situated in India. He can entirely control the operations of that business as such. So, by being situated in India, he is controlling that business, and he has earned that income outside of India. He received that income outside of India, but he is in India. So, during that period, whatever income is earned by him from that particular business, which is attributable to that period, that has to be included for this particular purpose, because it is, even though it is earned outside of India, but he has put his effort from being situated in India. So that is why that also has to be added.
Okay.
But when it comes to a profession cannot be said that it can be controlled from India. It has to be exercised by one himself. So he is going out of India. For example, I can say that it is a profession which is set up in India. Only the income which is coming to that profession which is set up in India from outside of India will attract tax in India. Meaning thereby, I have set up a, say for example, I am an advocate. I have set up my practice in India, but I also have the required degree to practice outside of India, say UK or say International Court of Justice. I go outside of India, stay there, and my stay is extended, and I argue there in the courts and earn professional fees there as an advocate. But my profession is actually not set up outside of India. I have set up my profession in India.
But you are executing there.
Yes. So at that time,
your setup is here.
Yes. So at that time, my entire professional income, even though it is earned outside of India, received outside of India, since my profession is set up in India, will be considered as India sourced income and would be added to this 15 lakh threshold for this particular purpose.
Okay. It can give rise to a lot of interpretation. Yes. I will not get into that, but let's understand that if it is something which is controlled from India, operated from India, even though if it is an income which is coming from outside of India, has to be clubbed into this 15 lakh limits.
Absolutely.
Right. For NRIs, one another source of income is the interest that they get from FCNR deposits.
Correct.
For computation of this 15 lakh threshold limit, how should they consider the interest gains from FCNR deposits?
One need to understand that under Income Tax Act, for these FCNR deposits alone, there is a specific exemption given. If you are a non-resident under Income Tax Act, or if you are a resident but not ordinary resident under Income Tax Act, then such persons will get entire exemption of whatever interest earned from FCNR deposits. So that being the case, since it is an exempted income in India and under a specific provisions under Income Tax Act, that should not be added to the 15 lakh threshold calculation.
Okay. So I'll add a point here. One could be an RNOR, irrespective of under whichever the category.
Correct.
For them, FCNR earnings are 100% tax free.
Yes.
Whereas, if a person becomes RNOR, by coming back to India, residing in India, he cannot claim exemption under NRE account, which becomes a violation.
Correct.
But if he becomes an RNOR by circumstances which
Yes.
we have described in the earlier videos, what I mentioned earlier,
Correct.
then he is entitled to hold an NRE account and interest become tax free.
Tax
So
free.
the situation has to be checked whether it is tax exempt for you or you are liable to pay taxes on that.
Correct.
If you are liable to be paying taxes on that, you have to compute that under the 15 lakh limits.
Yes.
Right. One another question that comes to my mind is, what about the capital gains? Capital gains can arise because of sale of property, sale of shares, mutual fund, anything. Will that be included in this 15 lakh limit? Because it's a capital gains, no, it is not an income that is separate.
See, you need to see where that immovable property, or say for example the shares or mutual funds or the bonds are. Now for example, if a person out of NRE funds, he has invested in a shares of an Indian company or Indian mutual fund or a bonds of Indian government, whatever it may be, but that investment is done in India, and any income which is getting generated either through appreciation or say ancillary interest such as dividend or interest is earned within India. It's a passive income, we say. So these incomes, since it is earned within India, it is always taxable. So even though he has used his outside of India funds to make an investment, that will not be considered as an exempted income in India at all. Even in the hands of non-resident, they have to pay taxes on that in India.
Okay.
So for the purpose of this 15 lakh, again it has to be added.
Okay. So if somebody has got a capital gains arising out of any of the transaction, that should be considered under this 15 lakh threshold limit.
Yes.
Maybe it gets taxed as an income, maybe it gets taxed as a capital gains, but
Yes.
for threshold purpose that should be included.
Absolutely, sir.
Right. I have two more doubts in my mind. I am a mutual fund distributor. Now in mutual funds, under the long term capital gains for the equity segment, there is an exemption of 1 lakh rupee per year which is given. Now while taking the threshold limit, should I leave that 1 lakh limit and take only the balance, or I should take the entire capital gains for the threshold calculation?
It's a tricky question. One need to understand very carefully here. Now this, when it comes to taxation of this equity shares, which is long term in nature, or taxation of equity oriented mutual funds, which is long term in nature, so they are not exempt in India. And what the law says as on date is, if the aggregate income from that segment is exceeding rupees 1 lakh, then there is a 10% rate of tax. This is what the law says. So that means up to the threshold of 1 lakh rupees, there is no tax, but it's not exempt. It means that it is zero rated tax. So even though the final impact of exempted income or zero rated tax is the same, the usage is something different.
So for threshold purpose, you have to take
Yes.
it into account.
Exactly.
Whether it is subjected to tax is secondary.
Yes.
So here, whether the income is subject to tax
Yes.
and the actual taxation is subjected to tax.
Correct.
So there can be an income exemption of 1 lakh rupees, but
Yes.
to calculate your threshold levels of 15 lakhs, you have to take that into account,
Absolutely, sir.
right? So that gave me that one more doubt.
Yeah.
Now while computing the income tax limits, so you have a non-taxable limit of first 2.5 lakh.
Correct.
And thereafter different slabs will follow. Now when somebody is looking at this 15 lakh threshold limits for income tax, now how should this exempt limit of 2.5 lakhs to start with has to be seen? Should that be included or that should be left out?
Of course it has to be included. As I said earlier, as it is applicable that 1 lakh limit, this 2.5 lakh also is a slab. So they have given a slab up to 2.5 lakhs, that is no tax, that means zero rated tax. More than 2.5 lakhs up to 5 lakhs, 5%. So like that they went on telling what is the rate of tax applicable on normal incomes what you earn. So that means on this 2.5 lakh also there is zero rated tax, that is not exempt. So that is why this first 2.5 lakhs what you earn also has to be included for the purpose of calculation of this 15 lakh threshold.
Okay. Again, my doubts have not been 100% satisfied here. For NRIs, now they receive money in NRE account.
Okay.
Somebody would have remitted money from outside of India, friend could have remitted, or there could be a flow from another NRE account. How will you treat that? Is there anything that the taxpayer has to take into account for the receipts that they have received in NRE account at that time?
Now, in respect of receipt into NRE account, one need to see whether it's only a receipt or it's an income.
Okay.
So, if it is an income, then since it is received in NRE account which is maintained in an Indian bank, that is received as good as in India.
Okay.
So, then if it is an income, then it has to be added for the calculation of this 15 lakh threshold.
Okay.
Like that it should be.
Right. So, while computing your 15 lakh income, look at your NRE account statements. If it is an income which is received in NRE account, then that also has to be added to compute this 15 lakh slab what you are working on.
Absolutely, sir.
Right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, to summarize, if you have to determine your resident status and if you are working on that 15 lakh threshold level of income which is mentioned in the amendment, the points that we have discussed in this video are helpful to you. Your income should be received in India, or it should have been arisen in India, or it should have been from business or professions which are controlled in India. If you have been given tax exemptions for specific income as per the tax laws, you can leave out from that. But if you have certain slab rates under the income tax slab, such income has to be computed for arriving at the threshold level. Make sure you check your statement on NRE account. If any income is received in NRE account, that also has to be taken into this 15 lakh threshold limit. Mr. Sriram, thank you very much for bringing this information for the benefit of our viewers. Needless to say, it is quite complex. We have done our best possible efforts to simplify it. Hope the audience appreciates, and those people who are looking for an answer, those people who have asked this query in the comment section got an answer to their queries. Instead of answering each and every one of you who have asked this query in comment, we have done this particular video. Thank you very much on behalf of all our viewers for highlighting these issues and bringing an answer for their queries on this channel. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dear viewers, if you have read these questions on the comment section, even if you have got an answer for your query, please like this video. If you are a person who is watching this channel for the first time, or if you are yet to subscribe for this channel, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon. Don't forget to share this video with your near and dear ones. Thank you very much for watching this episode on NRI Money Clinic. I shall be back with you with yet another useful topic in yet another video very soon.
Press the bell icon for more details and subscribe our channel.